The origins of play are buried in human prehistory, but its essence involves the creation or establishment of a safe space in which to learn, develop, and practice the skills that we need for survival and success throughout life. Games, however, are not free of ethical implications in the real world. Teachers need to be clear about their values and the learning objectives that they have when choosing or creating a game activity for their students. For example, most of us know about Monopoly, the most widely used board game that teaches you capitalism. The original aim of the game was, in fact, to address the evil of capitalist landlords until its patent ran out and it was purchased by a for-profit business and sold worldwide. So it became the teacher of capitalism par excellence. Another distinction to keep in mind about games is the difference between zero-sum games and infinite games. Zero-sum games result in winners and losers. Scorekeeping is essential. The idea is to end the game with the most gains or the highest score or the most of whatever one is playing for. Lots of team sports are like this, and identities and self-image are often at stake with the players. In the academic environment, so for example, when contests, prizes, and competitions are involved, teachers and learners must master how to live with success and defeat. In choosing, managing, and debriefing zero-sum games, we need to know the culture and the gender-focused implications, perhaps, of winning and losing, and how to emerge from the extremes of hubris and depression. On the other hand, we have something we call infinite games. In these, everyone is encouraged to be and feel like a winner. The idea is to keep the game going. And the longer it goes, the more skills you acquire and the insights you gain in the process. So everyone can win. If there is competition, the competition lies in the resolve and practice of the player to build and exceed his or her skill set and establish satisfying outcomes for oneself and the group. Games are useful because games make learning exciting and make it memorable. They free us to give our best, and we make our efforts to meet the game challenge. Since we have a safe space to play in, we enter a new reality, and this gives a higher level of unpredictability, freedom to take risks and chances. On the other hand, simple activities can be used to establish a base for dialogue and for mastering intercultural skills. In particular, ice-breaking activities can be useful to get to know each other and appreciate differences. One of the activities I created is called What's in a Name? And in this activity, participants get to know each other as they tell how their names, their first names, their family names, their patronymics, their nicknames, how all of these have related to their national, family, religious, or secular cultures, as well as their everyday experience of being called by the names that they are. This icebreaker develops basic intercultural skills like empathy, listening, and bridging cultures, while at the same time it acquaints the players with each other, particularly if they're going to be working together in the same class or on the same team. You can find this game in the resource section of this presentation.
Street art photo reporting is an activity that I have created. Students photograph street art, guess its hidden stories, then share photos and stories with classmates. This enables them to explore local underground cultures, develop empathy by trying to hear the silent voices behind street art, mostly from marginalized communities, and address diversity, equity, and inclusion issues. To be impactful, education tools, games, and activities must address specific learning goals and be sensitively implemented in multicultural settings. There's evidence that games and interactive activities can be impacted by cultural differences. For instance, collectivistic cultures tend to prefer games and activities involving group collaboration and rewards over individual competition. Here, zero-sum and infinite games seem best. When individual competition is less important, games with no winner or loser are preferred. Process matters more than the outcome. Cultures may differently value the types of rewards. In individualistic countries like the US, individual rewards with win-lose outcomes rank higher. In egalitarian cultures, for instance, the Netherlands, Finland, or Denmark, emphasizing individual achievement can be viewed negatively. According to Igner-Fogg, games based on physical skills prevail in societies that value individual achievements, self-control, and control over the physical environment. Rule-governed games are more prevalent in societies controlled by complex rules than those valuing flexibility. Knowing this can guide you to select games that best fit your learners. Before using games or interactive activities, consider the teaching context as well as learning styles and expectations. These may depend both on individual preferences and expectations of the teacher's role. In Western countries, teaching is mainly modeled on the Socratic questioning method based on which teachers extract the learning from students. In Asian Confucian-based cultures, teachers instead transfer knowledge to students and are role models. Teaching is expected to be serious, thus students mustn't engage critically with course content nor interact with teachers and students. They learn by heart, listen carefully to, and imitate their teachers. Here, the purpose of interactive learning activities and games should be introduced and explained carefully, as face work is very important. Give activity or game instructions clearly and in advance to reduce anxiety. Elicit feedback anonymously or individually when debriefing or giving teacher-student feedback. Finally, in a multicultural classroom, do your best to use a wide variety of activities and games to accommodate different students' learning styles and expectations. Use activities that encourage valuing cultures and that leverage the cultural preferences of all the students present in class. And last but not least, in countries where scarcity is an issue, access to resources or equipment issues should be carefully considered so as not to deepen inequalities between students.